Deja Vu is an interesting movie starring Denzel Washington, Jim Caviezel, and Val Kilmer. It involves time travel, which gets my attention immediately. Denzel kept traveling back in time to try to stop a bombing in New Orleans that had killed a bunch of people. In the process, he kept meeting this one victim who held the key to solving and stopping it. In the process, he had to make sure he didn't meet himself of the past, etc., etc. Okay, it's time travel in a movie. Anyway, his future self saved the day, and his past self met the girl for the first time. The closing scene is him feeling deja vu. He had never met her or been there on the ferry with her, but felt like he had. Well, today's Morning Minutes in the Bible has that feeling of deja vu as well, because we find Abraham and Sarah pulling that old "we're just brother and sister" trick again. It had failed embarrassingly before in Egypt, but for some reason their fear overcame their trust of God, so they did it again in an ugly incident recorded in Genesis 20. This time it was King Abimelech who pulled Sarah into his harem. Now, this wasn't the act of a godly man, but it did set up an interesting exchange in the Bible between God and Abimelech. God approached him in a dream and told him he was dead for taking the wife of Abraham into his harem. God was serious about protecting this line for the promised son. But Abimelech had the audacity to argue with God on a technicality. I didn't know she was married. God didn't quibble about him taking another woman into his harem, and accepted his defense that it was done unaware, which is why he had kept him away from her. Then God laid down the law: give her back, ask for Abraham's prayers, or else. Abimelech wasted no time the next morning calling his servants, returning Sarah, and asking some pointed questions of Abraham. What did I do to deserve this, and why did you do this? Abraham was partially honest and partially correct. There was no fear of God in the land, but he should have said, I didn't trust God. Regardless, Sarah was returned. Abraham prayed for Abimelech, and God blessed him as promised. But this all begs the question, why did this otherwise godly man do this again? Ultimately, we don't know. But we do know that God was faithful to Abraham and kept his promise, even when Abraham failed to trust him. Well, what about us? Is there a lot of this kind of deja vu in our lives? Sins repented but repeated? If so, let's work on rooting them out by putting our complete trust in God. Now, I do hope, despite any feelings of deja vu, that you will be right back here tomorrow for another Morning Minutes in the Bible. Until then, this is James McClenny hoping you have a great day.